is no God like my God. I dare you to brag on him for a moment.
So today we are talking about making good use of time. I think we don't have enough time to start with, but we'll take 10 minutes and hopefully it will be a good use of our time.
Everybody just clap your hands and say, oh.
Time is one of those limited resources that God gave us. It's like the second that had just passed has passed forever and will never return to us. So how we use our time is very important. And I think I refer to a verse in Proverbs that says, where your heart is, there your treasure is as well. In line with that, if you want to know the things that you value as an individual, you look at the things you spend time on. Because during that time when you're using that time to do whatever it is you're doing, you are also not doing other things that you could have been doing. So it's important how we use our time is important, and yeah, I think that's all. From now, I'll just ask you guys to chip in. What do you guys think about, or what are things you consider when you are dividing your time?
One thing is urgency, like what's really urgent at the moment when you're maybe giving your time. You can't give all your time to something that's 2 months away. Well, there's something else that needs your attention right now, and it's important, equally as important. Another thing is actually not all about time management, but it's how much you value the time you have. I prefer to call it, instead of time management, I usually prefer to call it time valuation. Like, how much do you value the time you have? Every single second, even if it's a lot, or even if you think it's a lot, how much do you value that time so that you'll make sure that you've used it as it should be? Instead of like, I'm managing my time, I'm like, from maybe 9:32 to maybe 9:41, I'll be doing this and this and this. But is it a time that you can be able to finish that thing and get over with it and do something else? Are you really valuing that time you have, or you'll just do for the sake of it? So time valuation.
So urgency and time valuation. Someone else with the point?
Me, I would say importance again and priority. And something I learned from Jesus is that Jesus used to wake up early to pray for hours before dawn. People would say maybe around 3. And he would spend so much time with God. And when it came to performing miracles, it took him seconds to do it. And you remember when the disciples were trying to cast out the demons with that man, they spent so much time trying to cast out the demon. But when Jesus just did it in a second, because he had already dealt with that during his time in prayer. So if you set your priorities right, even the things that need to be done will be done, with effectiveness.
So my approach of time, I don't believe that time exists. So actually, it's by coincidence. I've been studying time. I've been reading a lot on time, and see timetable. You guys. Anyway, what I mean is, when you read on time, what defines time is events and existence. It's never like there's never been a watch. Our ancestors and all those guys didn't have a watch to tell them time and all that. Out of events that the aspect of time was birthed. Guys looking at the sun and by the ikifika hapa hivi ndo tunafanya, like ikifika hapa ndo ninakula lunch, ikifika hapa nakula and all that. We have different people believe in different aspects of time. We believe our time is actually out of the event. We got our time out of Jesus because we are 2009 years after Jesus. That's an event that happened. Jesus lived, and out of him we got our calendar. But we have different guys who believe in different lengths of days and different lengths of years. Like kuna watu wako na more than the 12 months that we think we have. So actually time is all, for me, time is all in events and in minds, and in the mind and all that. In as much as we look at, sometimes scientists would say, say the day is longer than the night, because according to how regular they've defined their day, kuna irregularities that actually. But anyway, my what defines my time actually, I don't want to be very religious, but what defines my time is Jesus, because he's actually the epicenter. Like when we bring a lot of ideas, people who say that Christ doesn't exist, stories of God doesn't exist. For me, my anchor is Christ on it. Like I believe that God is there because actually Christ lived. We have a date that we have a year, we are 2019 years after Christ. You see, so that's actually a proof for me that actually my Christ actually existed. So when we are trying to when I have somebody else who's trying to tell me, hii kitu unasoma, hii kitu unafanya ni ukweli, I'm like, you guys, do you know that we are 2019 years after Christ? Actually, that for me, it's that for me actually defines time. But otherwise, I think I've been a bad timekeeper, because I'm trying to come into terms with the aspect, the ideology of time. I don't know if you can get me, but I'm trying to come up with understand what actually time is actually. Because when I look at this, I look at the watch here, there's a lot that goes into my mind. I don't know if you get me, but yeah, I'm still studying on time. It's actually a very interesting study.
Days of this servant Moses, righteousness being.
Okay, mine is different. There are times maybe, okay, I know most people base theirs on maybe schoolwork, work. There are times maybe even simple things. Let's say you're at home in the evening, and then maybe there's someone who wants to talk to you for 2 hours. It can be a friend, a special someone, whoever. And then there's this movie you really want to watch. You've waited the whole day, there's this series you want to catch up on. See, there's normally that kind of thing. You tell them you want to cook, there's something else you're doing, you talk. Kashugi. So sometimes you tend to think on the long run. Do you want to ruin this relationship because of the movie? The movie will seem, not at that moment it seems like it's your whole world. Yeah? So sometimes it's a fix. So either you look for a 50-50 way, you may end up cooking something, or at least I make sure I've balanced both. I won't talk to you for the 2 hours, maybe I can do 1 hour 1 hour. See, I love balance. Yeah, so I normally have that, because if I take something more than the other, and maybe in the long run, it will affect something, so you just take a balance.
You gotta come on, say the bills are all white in the world.
I strongly feel the Bible tells us that times and seasons belong to God. And just like everything else that belongs to God, He gave these things to us for us to have dominion over. So what we're supposed to do is not be slaves to time. Time is supposed to be a slave. So we're supposed to be the master. So I don't feel like it's okay that people let time control them, and then you give yourself timelines, and if you don't beat them, you beat yourself up so much and feel so bad, and yet it's you who is supposed to actually define and control what you do during the time that you have. So time is not a master, we are the master. So it shouldn't get to a point where we feel like we have to beat certain timelines, or we have to do certain things at a certain time, and if we don't, feel like the world is over, because then we are the ones who decide what we do and how we use the time that we have. It doesn't have to make sense to anyone else, as long as it's what you personally set out to do. As long as you accomplish everything you are meant to accomplish by whenever you accomplish.
There's this guy called Pastor Chan. Francis Chan is really nice. I like him. Let's say this braid goes for eternity, and this is the time you have in earth, from here to here is the time you have it. Then the rest is eternity. So he says that take this is the only time you have this is the only time you have, and then what you do here, you'll be paid here. You get sorry. Just
Going to remove eternity.
You know she's the pepper.
so why live for yourself here? Or like he was saying that people work so hard until here so that they can enjoy this, and then you suffer the rest of this. Okay, to me that was really opening, because most of us want things now. Unataka kukaa hubu, umaliza campus, umeingia job, umepanda ranks, like some of us want kukua the best drama, kukua the best Richard Bona, as in those best and then when you get all that, you will always want more. So what I got from it is that if you spend your time in Christ, like, that is the best. You'll have the best time management, because I remember Martin Luther used to say, I have so much to do that I need to spend 3 hours in prayer to accomplish it. I mean, it was really like, there are times, personally, sometimes my course na ngumu, and then I just go in like one over and over, and then it becomes easier. I am not like things you take days to study, just they flow, and we don't understand how, because it's just if you give yourself up to God doesn't have a beginning or an end. So, and He created it. I mean, it was in the beginning that we started. So just the best time management to me, well, I'm not disputing any, it's not priorities or anything, it's just focusing on Christ. Na yeye ndio atakugawanisha hizo priorities, because like, look at Joseph. This guy was told, your brothers will bow down to you, but he spent so much time in prison, and if he didn't focus on the guy who gave him that vision, angekuwa discouraged. I mean, it's like God anakuambia utapata job, but hakuambii when, na hiyo job labda 20 years from now. Ama, you get like funny things like this. So you might think you're not in line with whatever, like you're delaying, like I'm wasting my time, but just focus on Him and He'll direct your path.
Time in light of timelessness, that's eternity, which is, I think, important enough for you to consider when you're budgeting for your time. You think about it in light of eternity as well. So, anyone else?
This week I've been reading about stewardship. That everything we have is not our own. Everything that we have is not our own from our life. And time is an aspect of life. So everything that we have belongs to God. So I went to this class fellowship, and the preacher asked, at the end of the day, do you take an audit of your day and ask God, did I please you? Did I do what you wanted me to do? Because this life is not mine, and at the end of it, I want to be like that steward who was given 10 talents. Then he made them more. And he was told, well done, good and faithful servant. You will join in the happiness of the master. You will enjoy the happiness of the master. How wonderful is it to join, as in the who was saying last week about joy of God, as in akuna, it's so much, it's abundant and stuff. So I was like, wow, if I do what God wills me to do, I will enjoy His grace, His abundance, His faithfulness. So I kept every single day, have I done have I pleased you? Have I used my time according to the way you want me to do? Is medicine according to the way you want me to do? Is my singing, is my fellowship, is my ministry the way you want me to do? Because it is not my own.
I guess I'll close by saying thank you guys for listening in, and if you have any more questions, put them in the comment section below. Don't forget to share. Thank you.